trying to condition my husband to not use words like be a good girl is like, oh, it's an uphill battle. You're so used to be like, be good, a good girl. Like it's so
ingrained in our culture.
So ingrained in our culture just to change. And that is like a thing that I keep coming back to in life is our words become our culture. So you change your language about something and you change your ideas about something. Like the words lead the way sometimes. Which
words do form the
having
reality,
a word
yes.
for pansexual creates your ideas about what a pansexual is. It's like this is like a big like therapy one from back like the first time I ever did therapy was like, if you can name it, you can tame it. You know, but it's true.
In this
like
case, maybe untame it,
like sad, or untame it. Yeah.
That how Adele recently like lost all this weight and whatever, her appearance is different, and all these news like channels and things in the States said she attributed it to reading Untamed. But then when I dived a little further, none of that is true. None of it. That she felt and like made her finally feel like alive and was like, yes, this is the book I needed. I want to feel free. Like she wrote a whole bunch of stuff, but other than that, like she was just saying yes. And they're like, that's why she lost all the weight.
Media, did you read the book? It's not about the...
It has nothing to do with her physical appearance. Nothing.
Yeah, and it's so weird because basically the media is forcing her into, through this book, which is about Untamed, which is about examining your conditions like thoughts and ways of being. Yeah, it's very bizarre that somehow by reading this book, in order to get free, it led her to be a better conditioned woman. She got that body back, thank God.
It had nothing. That just makes me so mad. Like, that it's always about what women look like. Like, just so over that. My oldest daughter, and she keeps on saying stuff about, I was like lying like on like bed the other morning like this, and she said, don't lie like that. And I was like, why? She's like, because it makes you look fat. And I was like, what? Like my weight doesn't define me. And she was like, what? And I was like, it doesn't matter. That's not important. That's not who you are. And I had to have a whole conversation with how what's inside is more important than what's on the outside. Like, and it's just makes me mad because it's never been a thing in our house. It means that she got it from out there. Like at 8, that all of a sudden she has thin is the only way to go. I was like,
Charlie is also like 1 year older and is cognizant of double chins now. And that if I take her picture now, requests that I take it from certain angles. And I was like, what?
Kara, don't you you were talking about your childhood and you feeling like you didn't fit in and have like, it's just the same thing, and wasn't your mom, I don't want to get into your dynamic with your mother, but wasn't your mom just trying to make it okay that you could be whatever you wanted to be and not have to be feminine and be whatever, which is all what you guys are saying about your kids.
For sure.
I'm hoping that books like this and discussions like this and naming things and all the things we talked about are going to be able to allow women to not feel like you did growing up.
But some of it is so ingrained that it's invisible to us. So even though it's not something that is in your house, Sarah, it still may be something that is reflected in your behavior and you don't even know, right? Like you care one day that your shirt didn't look right, or you changed it, or you wanted to put makeup on because you were doing something special or whatever it is.
That's true.
Right?
That is
and
true.
so
That's true.
The scary thing is well, how pervasive it is, because even if you're perfect at trying to counteract it with your child, they go out into the world where it's the most dominant and subtle thing that it's just like, so that's how everyone gets it. Do they watch TV? Do they socialize, interact with other people?
When kids say things like that, they are looking for an adult to say, no, that's not right. Right? Because they're getting all these messages out there. And so they're kind of testing the waters and seeing what the person they trust the most says. They're like, well, the world's telling me this. What does this lady say? Because
true.
I trust I can trust her with other things. So anyway, I think it's good that you had the conversation. That's the hard part of being a parent, is that every minute, every moment is a teaching moment. And it's hard not to be angry about stuff like that. You're like, what? Why do we have to talk about this now? Can't we just have breakfast and smile at each other? I just have to be hard all the time.
Well,
don't worry, I can do hard things, so.
Right? For me, it's that innocence.
I can do consecutive hard things, one after
You've been
another.
tainted, you know? And for me, it's that innocence that's lost or whatever. Like, it's you've been tainted. I've been trying so hard to keep you untainted.
Book interrupted.
I twisted my knee and ankle, let's see, 3 days ago, because I decided to leave my snowshoes on while sledding, and they got snagged on the way down. So that might be the most Canadian injury I've had.
Book interrupted.
If we had to name one thing that we'd say, you know what? This isn't working for me. Like I'll lead as an example.
You start.
Explain that correctly.
Right example of an answer.
As a wife, I'm expected to behave in a certain manner which is in accordance with my gender, and equally so my husband is meant to abide by certain gender roles. And I think what I'm noticing and getting close to is maybe having a talk and just being like, do you want to just write our own rules? And I wonder if maybe we'd have less fights, because we do deeply love each other. We do want to be together more than we want to be apart. But abiding by these gender rules, I don't know that it's working for us.
I prefer to view my relationship as a partnership, and we're moving together toward a goal, right? And you said a healthy, happy family. That's a good goal or whatever. So accomplish that task as long as the two of you together define and approve of the method in which you want to pursue your goal. It's hard too sometimes though. Like I say that it sounds so easy, but I have the same fight. I don't even know how it comes down to gender roles, but I still find myself struggling with the workload of the housework, you know? And it's like, there isn't a gender role thing going on here. Then why is this all falling on me? You know, like why do I do all these things? I just have more conversations and I'm just honest. And I'm not even like, it's not even that I'm mad at him. This is the best technique now. The strategy is, I'm not mad at you. I'm sharing my feelings about this situation. So the fact that this happens to me more often or whatever, I feel like that's unfair. I just don't think that it's fair. There's 3 of us that live here and there's one of us that takes care of this one thing. It feels unfair. I mean, and it's hard too, because you said Bob tries not to let it look like it, right? Because he obviously buys into the fact that now he's less masculine because he's better at these like,
like it must be hugely hard for him. Yeah, absolutely. Like he even has the willingness, like he'll just start he's such a great person and contributor to the team. But yeah, I see that a lot of it is, he still is aware that at the end of the day, many members of society expect him to be the ultimate breadwinner. He will financially have everything taken care of, and he will take out the garbage.
Talking about gender roles, it's more acceptable for women to read books like Untamed, to learn to listen to their true selves and be themselves. And I could be wrong, but I don't think there's as much of a market for that kind of thing for men. So for a man who says, I don't fit into this box, I want to get out of the box, it's a completely different battle. And I don't know if we've reached the critical mass there. Whereas, you know, books like Untamed are helping kind of the women get to this critical mass. And we can't really get there if we don't bring the men along.
We have each other to talk about these things, right? Where even if a man wants to try to change that, he is on his own. Maybe, right? Like, I feel like there's not enough support coming from someone else going through the same thing. There's not enough like books and literature. Like, there's not enough support groups or support.
I know a lot of men who who have support groups and who talk to their friends and who talk about their emotions, and who, I don't know if that's just from being in theater and being in restaurants, and people are generally more emotional in those kind of industries. But
Yeah.
I find most men really, especially like stranger men, like in my job all the time, because they're in a vulnerable position, and guys open up to me all the time. Yeah. And our father was part of a men's support group. Kara.
That's true.
Yeah. And he was really emotionally vulnerable and open. My husband, every boy I've ever dated, really. I got a type. It's vulnerable.
I think maybe we can put like a challenge out to our listeners to recommend a book similar to this that is geared towards breaking down the patriarchy for men.
Thank you for visiting Book Interrupted's YouTube channel. Please click the button below to subscribe. This way you don't miss any episodes. Also, if you like this particular episode, give us a thumbs up to say that you liked it. Give us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Or share it with your friends and family.
On Book Interrupted.